You may have heard about the recent Chapter 7 failure of a company making electric last-mile delivery vans. You know, the ones that bring things to your house. Is that an indictment of the idea or just the end of a company? I say it's just the end of a company, and I'm more excited about electric delivery vans than I am about our electric personal cars. Here's why. That company that got headlines for failing was called ELMS, Electric Last Mile Solutions. They were known for a couple of vehicles, a Class 1, kind of a compact urban van with 110 miles of range, cost about $28,000 to start. And the other vehicle was a Class 3 chassis, meant to put a box on the back by an upfitter, creating an electric box van, a little heavier vehicle, and 125 miles range. Now, the first thing to notice are those range numbers. And that's one of the key reasons why I'm more excited about electric delivery vans than I am about our own personal electric cars. Because they don't need the kind of killer range that is holding back so many EV buyers. And here's a slew of other reasons that trickle down from there. Instead of huge range, electric delivery vans reward grunt, torque, the ability to haul big loads around, because that's what they do for a living. Now, you'll find that torque is often loved in electric passenger cars. You can go 0 to 60 in 2 seconds. Who cares? With an electric delivery van, the torque is all about getting a large load around efficiently, and we all care about that. Electric does torque from RPM number 1, as opposed to gas and diesel engines that have to be coaxed up to 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 RPM to get their peak torque. With electric motors, torque is the name of the game. It's what they do by nature. Delivery vans should have always been electric. Next up, delivery vans go slow. This is really important because combustion engines hate that. A combustion engine does its best when it's up in the sweet spot of several thousand RPM, moving along at kind of a steady state. Think about freeway or highway driving, but not too fast. Well, that's not what last mile delivery vans do. So they need a different powertrain that doesn't mind being driven slowly, stop and go, and being turned on and off all the time. Delivery vans travel set routes. This is part and parcel of being in the delivery business. These companies know exactly how many stops, distance between them, how many corners, how to make it all right turns, what's the terrain, what's the traffic, what's the load in the vehicle. They analyze the hell out of their runs. You and I don't do that. We get in our car and go drive around. There's no plan whatsoever. So an electric vehicle can be matched, its battery capacity, for the work it has to do over the range it has to do so. Therefore, range anxiety kind of goes away. It's a knowable, whereas our personal driving tends to be an unknowable. And that's why we get nervous about if we're going to have enough charge for a given day that we can't really predict. That's why so many folks are put off from buying an EV, because they have this question, well, what if I need to travel a really long distance? You seldom do, but the possibility of it is so unknowable, you end up not buying an electric car. Local delivery vans work a lot. This is really key also. Electric powertrains, and autonomy by the way, are expensive new technologies that are going to require the expense of the tech itself. And you're asking a lot of folks who have a non-electric car to basically turn it over and go buy a new electric vehicle, whether it's for a fleet or for your personal driveway. Those are two big forms of expense. Because electric trucks work so hard, they earn back that expense far more quickly. They're out there working 8, 10, 12 hours a day. Compare that to your personal car that is parked virtually its entire life, 95 or 96% of the time. It has a very hard time reaching an ROI on the expense of buying it at its MSRP and having turned in a gas engine car that you could have kept driving. Trucks, they get to break even and then profit real quick. And electric delivery vans love low, flat floors. Guess what? Electric vehicles have low, flat floors. It's part of how they're designed. They have these big flat beds of batteries tucked down low under the belly. What this does is lead to more cargo capacity. It leads to a far easier load in and load out, and it even means the driver has maybe one less step to jump in and out of all the time as they get up in the cab. All these things lead to work efficiency for the fleet owners. It's not trivial stuff. Also, a low, flat, heavy battery gives a delivery vehicle a nice low planted center of gravity. This is important in what's normally a tall vehicle that can be loaded up to the very top, and that can create a vehicle that's a little less stable. You've been backed up in traffic when one of these things flops over, right? But when you've got a nice low anchor down in the bilge, that's a good thing. Now, of course, none of what I'm telling you is new to the big four transportation and logistics companies. Amazon, UPS, FedEx, DHL. They prowl American streets in huge numbers every day, bringing us our increasing number of packages to our doorsteps. Take a look at Amazon. They signed the deal a couple years ago to say we're going to buy 100,000 electric delivery trucks from Rivian. It was the biggest single order for electric vehicles in history. Now, since then, we've realized they're not locked to that deal. They're also going to source some from at least one other automaker, from Ram. But the point is, Amazon's all in, and they deliver 50% of their own packages right now via their own trucks. FedEx has said it will only buy new electric delivery vehicles by 2030. UPS has placed an order for 10,000 electric delivery vans with a very different look than the brown truck we're used to, and an option for 10,000 more. And these will show up in the UK, Europe, North America through 2024. And you might not even know that about a fifth of DHL's yellow vans have already been converted to electric. That's because they look very familiar. It's just a Ford Transit van. But a large number of them have been retrofitted to electric by a partner company. And you wouldn't even notice. Driving all this is a realization that was published recently by the North American Council on Freight Efficiency. Nope, I hadn't heard of them before either. But they said that an electric delivery van last mile vehicle will use maybe $2,000 worth of electricity in a year, compared to about $10,000 of gasoline for the old style van. And by the way, that huge disparity in favor of electric was done when gas was averaging $2.98 a gallon. Ha! Bottom line is, we're at the threshold of a future where it's going to be even harder to know when your Amazon box has been delivered, because the truck that did so may not even make a sound.